From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The rising popularity of electric and gas-powered bicycles across Lincoln is bringing increased scrutiny from local law enforcement as officers address traffic complaints and navigate new state regulations. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister explains his department regularly receives complaints regarding e-bikes and gas-assisted bicycles, particularly concerning operators cutting through parking lots, disregarding traffic signals, and riding on high-speed roadways like Woodlawn Road and Keokuk Street.
Yeah, they're very popular in Lincoln. A lot of people use both e-bikes and gas-powered bicycles that they build on their own. A lot of times we respond to complaints about the way people are operating those e-bikes and gas-powered bicycles. We have a lot of complaints about avoiding traffic devices like stoplights and things, cutting through parking lots to get through, operating them on streets that they shouldn't be operating them on, such as like Woodlawn Road and Keokuk, in areas where the speed limit is higher on those streets. They're prevalent. A lot of times people that don't have a driver's license are using them to get around, because up until the new legislation passed, weren't required to have a license for most of those types of vehicles.
Chief Meister notes that while e-bikes historically require no licensing, newly enacted Illinois legislation is introducing stricter standards. Certain higher speed or higher wattage models now require a valid driver's license, with additional registration and insurance requirements set to roll out in future phases.
There's different classes of electronic bicycles and also different classes of gas-powered bicycles. For certain classes, you will be required to have a valid driver's license to operate them. I think for the e-bikes, it's anything over 750 watts. Any e-bike or gas bicycle, again, give me some forgiveness on this because I've read the law once. It just was passed July 1st, and portions of it have gone into effect and others haven't. But anything that goes over 28 miles an hour, I think you have to have a license as well. And then in the following July in 2027, there'll be registration and insurance requirements, just like, for your cars or motorcycles.
Regardless of vehicle classification or power source, the chief emphasizes all riders are legally bound by standard rules of the road, including stopping at stop signs and wearing required eye protection on motorized or gas-powered cycles.
I think it's a fantastic idea. They can be dangerous, especially in higher populated areas, because they're mixing in with traffic. I think that's what drove the law, from my understanding. I read some information from the Secretary of State website that lawmakers made the decision to regulate these bicycles, if you want to call them that, more strictly due to fatal and injury crashes that have occurred. And I think that was more in the higher populated area.
In response to nighttime activity, the Lincoln Police Department is actively stepping up night shift enforcement. Chief Meister points out that city ordinance allows officers to impound bicycles for up to 30 days for equipment violations, such as riding without proper lighting, a tool being used to deter criminal activity and keep the community safe.
Obviously, whether it's a regular pedal bicycle, an electronically powered one, or a gas-powered one, they still have to follow the rules of the road. So that includes stopping at stop signs. Growing up, a lot of kids don't learn that. You ride right through them. I know I did when I was a kid growing up in a small town. They are required to follow all those rules of the road. Anytime you're riding a powered bicycle or a moped, something like that, you have to wear glasses just like you do if you're operating a motorcycle. There's all kinds of laws that apply to, especially on night shift. We recognized a trend probably a couple of years ago where some people that had bad intentions, were using bicycles to travel around town, or e-bikes to travel around town, hauling a cart behind them to carry away stolen property after they've committed a theft or burglary. I asked for an increase in traffic enforcement on those bikes during the nighttime hours. And the city ordinance that we have also provides for towing and impounding a bike for a violation like not having a light on it. So we can impound that bicycle for like up to 30 days, which, if the person is using it as a method to go from crime to crime, we're taking those wheels away from them and making it harder for them to continue. So the increase in enforcement was specifically related to that.
That's crazy.
Not just for safety of the people using those bicycles.
For more information on local traffic ordinances or bicycle safety guidelines, residents can contact the Lincoln Police Department. As we roll into August, Central Illinois crops could use one last rain event to carry them to the finish. That's according to Reagan Tibbs, commercial ag educator at the University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties, who told the Heart Media Group on the WHOW Morning Show Thursday that things are starting to get a bit dry, although drought concerns seem to be isolated.
Yeah, definitely. This has been one of the more interesting growing seasons. We had a lot of rain in June, which was really awesome to see and help get these crops a really good start. And then July is one of the driest months of the year. Obviously there are some places that have had some pop-up rain showers every here and there. I mean, just on Monday, I was in Petersburg on Monday, and in Petersburg itself, it hardly rained. But you cross the river and go just to the east of Petersburg, and they got a few tenths of rain. So there's just the stark difference of a couple miles really is something interesting. But you're absolutely right. We're looking at those flash drought conditions. The National Drought Monitor, which updates their data every Thursday and publishes it for Illinois in this part of the state, we're not seeing any drought conditions just yet. Now, there might be some local drought conditions, certainly, but in terms of how the Drought Monitor classifies things, we're not seeing any drought conditions. Now, there are other parts of the state which we're seeing drought. For example, up in northern Illinois, kind of in the Rockford area, kind of that along the Wisconsin border, they're seeing some drought conditions. And there are parts of southern Illinois which are seeing some. And then also just on the west side of the Illinois River, there's some areas that are seeing drought conditions as well. So hopefully, I think there's some rain in the forecast for tomorrow and over the weekend. So hopefully that gives us just a little bit enough to prevent those flash drought conditions. But definitely seeing some of those conditions setting on, and wouldn't be surprised to see if we get the drought classifications over the next coming day.
With the hot and humid conditions of July, Tibbs indicates there is starting to be some disease pressure showing up.
Things are looking pretty well. It's really hard to find a spot that isn't growing very well. I mean, at this point, all the parts that, were flooded or that had a lot of standing water throughout much of June, those parts are flooded out and there's crops that didn't grow in those spots. But in every other spot that I've been seeing, looking at really, really strong growing conditions. The last week or so when we had really, really hot and humid weather, really sticky, those are some of the best conditions for crop diseases we've been seeing. There was an article posted on Monday by Boris Camilletti, who's one of our crop physiologists who focuses on crop diseases. And he talked about that we're starting to see southern rust here in Illinois now. We've had these really hot conditions, really humid, and those are the perfect type of conditions for southern rust and other diseases like tar spot to come in as well. So it kind of varies different parts of the state. There's some counties here in the central part of the state. I think McLean County is one that has southern rust and tar spot. There are parts of southern Illinois as well, kind of all over the place. The Crop Protection Network does a really good job of putting together a map where you can then filter through different crop diseases and see where they are present at and where they were present at in the previous year as well. That the Crop Protection Network is a group of researchers and crop scientists from around the country who get together and put out information on different crop diseases, different crop conditions, and then what are the best approaches to handling those. And so the maps that they put out and the information and resources they have are really beneficial when it comes to deciding whether or not treatment is needed for those diseases.
According to Tibbs, producers are in a wait-and-see cycle as they look to the war in Iran and other macroeconomic factors as the growing season rolls on. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hello, I'm Jay Peterson with Peterson Insurance. For 60 years, we have had the privilege of helping protect what matters most to the people of Clinton and the surrounding communities. We'd love for you to help us celebrate this special anniversary at our open house on Tuesday, August 4th, anytime from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 117 West Main Street in downtown Clinton. Stop in, enjoy some refreshments, visit with our team, and celebrate 60 years of local service. We can't wait to see you there.
It's never too early to start thinking about back-to-school preparations. Part of getting your kids ready for the new school year means making sure they're healthy. SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
Finding a local job in Central Illinois has never been easier. Don't waste time driving far or spending too much on gas. Visit IllinoisJobPost.com. It's your one-stop site to find local, full-time, and part-time job openings. Best of all, it's completely free for job seekers to access anytime, day or night. So if you're ready to land a job close to home, make IllinoisJobPost.com your first stop. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. Brought to you by your friends at the regional radio stations.
SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sportswire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Tristan Peters drew a bases-loaded walk in the 11th inning to force an automatic runner, Chase Maydra, and the Chicago White Sox edged the New York Yankees 2-1 on Thursday, beating New York in extra innings for a second straight game.
For the second straight game, the White Sox and Yankees played some bonus baseball after matching zeros, 18 of them up on the scoreboard. It took extras before either team could play to run. Both pushed across their Manfred man in the 10th, but after the night, Sir Anthony Dominguez shut down the Yanks in the 11th. The Sox loaded the bases with Tristan Peters in position to walk it off for a second straight day.
The 3-0. It is high, and the game is over. Tristan Peters with a game-ending walk. Boy, Christmas has come early in the last 2 days playing these Yankees.
A literal walk-off. Back-to-back walk-off winners for the first-place White Sox. Good guys head to Tampa Bay this weekend. Pre-game coverage for the series opener on Friday night starts at 5:30 on the ESPN Chicago Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The White Sox will try to keep the momentum going as they kick off a weekend series with Tampa Bay. Pre-game for tonight's outing on WHOW is at 5:30 p.m. Alex Bregman drove in the go-ahead run with a 10th inning double, and the Chicago Cubs went on to a 4-2 win over the St. Louis Cardinals on Thursday. Bregman went 9 for 18 as the Cubs took 3 games in the 4-game series with 6 doubles, a home run, and 3 RBIs. Bregman scored the final run on a double play by Ian Happ off Luis Gastelum, who is 2-2. Jacob Webb is 4-2 and pitched 1 1/3 innings of relief for the win, and Aaron Savali finished to get his first save of the season. Nico Horner had 3 of Chicago's 11 hits. Chicago improved to 9-6 in extra inning games this season, while St. Louis fell to 8-5. Right-handed starter Javier Assad gave up 1 run on 6 hits in 4 1/3 innings for the Cubs. Cardinals starter Andre Palante went 6 1/3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 7 hits. A 1-out home run by rookie J.J. Weatherholt in the 7th off Caleb Thielbar pulled the Cardinals even at 2-2. Palante was lifted after giving up a 1-out walk to Dansby Swanson. Michael Busch hit a 1-2 changeup to left with 2 outs off reliever George Soriano, scoring Swanson for a 2-1 lead in the 7th. The Cubs tied it at 1-1 on a throwing error by right fielder Lars Nootbaar. Bregman doubled with 1 out. Ian Happ hit a fly back to the fence. Bregman tagged and went to third and dashed home when Weatherholt couldn't catch Nootbaar's high throw to the infield. Brian Torres singled home Nootbaar with 1 out in the second inning, giving St. Louis a 1-0 lead. St. Louis right-hander Kyle Leahy is 7-4 with a 3.55 ERA and takes on Toronto's right-hander Dylan Cease, who is 7-6 with a 2.46 ERA on Friday. Chicago lefty Shoto Imanaga is 7-8 with a 3.72 ERA and will go against New York Yankees right-hander Will Warren, who is 7-5 with a 4.41 ERA on Friday. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Texas Rangers 3-2, while the Minnesota Twins took down the Kansas City Royals 4-3. The New York Mets beat the Miami Marlins 4-2, while the Cincinnati Reds beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-2. The Atlanta Braves took down the Washington Nationals 5-4, while the Boston Red Sox beat the Athletics 5-4. The San Francisco Giants beat the San Diego Padres 4-1, and the Los Angeles Dodgers took down the Seattle Mariners 6-2. The Chicago Bears defense struggled much of last year at stopping the run, rushing the passer, and staying healthy, but the one thing it could do was intercept passes. Now, a rebuilt secondary might need time to pull together, and it's questionable whether it actually improved at rushing the passer or stopping the run. It may need another big takeaway year like last season when it picked off 23 passes and recovered 10 fumbles. At the outset of practices, the Bears have 2 different safeties in veteran Kobe Bryant and rookie Dylan Thieneman, and they have shuffled through 3 or 4 players at nickel cornerback with Kyler Gordon out because of a calf muscle injury. Bryant, the former Seattle Seahawks safety and Super Bowl champion, brings speed and another asset to their secondary. Having cornerback Jalen Johnson back healthy after an injury-plagued 2025 and the return of TJ Edwards from a season-ending broken leg later in camp should further improve personnel, but overall problems with personnel on the defensive line and new players in the secondary could persist until proven otherwise. Green Bay Packers cornerback Keeson Nixon wanted no part of any conversations about his contract situation on Thursday, but Nixon did want to make one thing clear. He didn't miss the Packers' first practice of training camp to demonstrate his dissatisfaction with his contract. If Nixon remains concerned about his contract, which calls for him to earn $4.3 million base salary this season in the final year of a 3-year, $18 million deal, he wouldn't say no. Nixon's $6 million annual average salary makes him the 41st highest paid cornerback in the league. The 29-year-old Nixon started all 18 games, including the playoffs last season, and was named to the NFC's Pro Bowl team as an alternate. He finished the year with 78 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery, and a career-high 17 pass breakups and 1 interception. A victory-clinching end-zone pick in a 28-21 victory over the rival Chicago Bears at Lambeau Field on December 7th. When Nixon didn't practice Wednesday, rookie second-round pick Brandon Cease worked with the starting defense. With Nixon back, he and Carrington Valentine were the starting cornerbacks. Both Nixon and Valentine admitted Thursday that there have been some challenges to transitioning from previous defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley's system to the one new coordinator Jonathan Gannon runs, making every training camp practice snap count. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms And get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about living up to the company's tagline of connecting people.
Whether it's on our AM, our FM, our video, our social media, our camera, that we got here in studio, it's all about local people and telling those local stories. We're really excited to be doing that. We're excited to be adding some new components to this.
Hart purchased the Miller Media Group in August 2025 and looks forward to serving DeWitt County and Central Illinois for years to come.
If you're looking for music that stood the test of time, join me, Randy Miller, Sundays from 6 to 8 a.m. on 95.9 WEZC. I host Steady Ground Replay, a 2-hour journey back to the roots of contemporary Christian music. From the songs that started a movement to the hits that formed our foundation, it's 2 hours of timeless encouragement. Steady Ground Replay, standing on the music that built our faith. Sundays from 6 to 8 a.m. on 95.9 WEZC.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump has announced an agreement it would see Hamas lay down its arms in Gaza, while Israel would pull back its troops. So far, there's been no comment on that proposal from Israel. No reports of any problems with water quality among customers of more than 30 Minnesota water utilities hit by cyber attacks earlier in the week. The culprit or culprits remains unknown. President Trump says time to get non-English-speaking illegal alien truckers off of America's highways. He says they're to blame for numerous deaths and injuries on the roads. The president announcing the Freedom Haulers Initiative. The aim is to encourage veterans with experience driving big military vehicles to consider trucking as a career. And the president may withdraw the Attorney General nomination of Todd Blanche until after the midterm elections. The Dow futures up 241 points. This is SRN News.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local news update. The rising popularity of electric and gas-powered bicycles across Lincoln is bringing increased scrutiny from local law enforcement as officers address traffic complaints and navigate new state regulations. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister explains his department regularly receives complaints regarding e-bikes and gas-assisted bicycles, particularly concerning operators cutting through parking lots, disregarding traffic signals, and riding on high-speed roadways like Woodlawn Road and Keokuk Street.
Yeah, they're very popular in Lincoln. A lot of people use both e-bikes and gas-powered bicycles that they build on their own. A lot of times we respond to complaints about the way people are operating those e-bikes and gas-powered bicycles. We have a lot of complaints about avoiding traffic devices like stoplights and things, cutting through parking lots to get through, operating them on streets that they shouldn't be operating them on, such as like Woodlawn Road and Keokuk, in areas where the speed limit is higher on those streets. They're prevalent. A lot of times people that don't have a driver's license are using them to get around, because up until the new legislation passed, weren't required to have a license for most of those types of vehicles.
Chief Meister notes that while e-bikes historically require no licensing, newly enacted Illinois legislation is introducing stricter standards. Certain higher speed or higher wattage models now require a valid driver's license, with additional registration and insurance requirements set to roll out in future phases.
There's different classes of electronic bicycles and also different classes of gas-powered bicycles. For certain classes, you will be required to have a valid driver's license to operate them. I think for the e-bikes, it's anything over 750 watts. Any e-bike or gas bicycle, again, give me some forgiveness on this because I've read the law once. It just was passed July 1st, and portions of it have gone into effect and others haven't. But anything that goes over 28 miles an hour, I think you have to have a license as well. And then in the following July in 2027, there'll be registration and insurance requirements, just like, for your cars or motorcycles.
For more information on local traffic ordinances or bicycle safety guidelines, residents can contact the Lincoln Police Department. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more, DeWittDailyNews.com.
From pickups to family vehicles, trust the experts at Walker Tire in Clinton, featuring quality Yokohama tires for dependable performance. We're here to help you find the right tire for every vehicle and every budget. Learn more by clicking our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Longview Community Bank is now open in Clinton, investing in rural Illinois. I'm Vice President Nate Sams. Stop by for a visit or to find out how we provide real local banking. Click our banner ad at the top of the local news page on DeWittDailyNews.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about back-to-school preparations. Part of getting your kids ready for the new school year means making sure they're healthy. SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency has designated WHOW's many platforms on AM and FM, as well as WEZC 95.9 FM, as standby radio stations for emergency messages to be sent for severe weather, as well as for the Clinton Power Station. We also have a direct link to the National Weather Service for watches or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM. Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I know the retails at the stores indicator probably better than most of the people in the stores know. I monitor this closely so customers do not have to. And then you don't have to spend $40 or $30 driving round trip at 60 cents a mile to Decatur or Lincoln or Bloomington. That's real numbers. It's 60, 70 cents a mile to drive your car.
And as Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson always says,
hope to see you soon.
You're listening to a best of segment of the WHOW Morning Show, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, this is a best of the WHOW Morning Show.
You're finding Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today, Reagan Tibbs, commercial ag educator at the U of I Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties. It's always good to see you, Reagan. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, Seth. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for making time for us. I know you are plugging away through fair season and everything. How's your summer treating you so far?
We're doing pretty good. good. We're doing pretty good. We've got 2 of our county fairs down here for us in our office, and so we got one more next week over in Logan County. So then after that, it's State Fair, and then seems like summer will be over right after that.
No question. Well, a couple of fairs in the books. How have things gone already?
Going pretty well. Weather is held out generally for us. I think obviously it's hot because it's summer, but generally, it's going very well. I think we've got youth who are getting a lot of valuable experiences. It's been great to see everybody out at the fair. In our county, for example, they have a new show arena, so it was great to see folks come there and see that new show arena and just show the appreciation towards the donors who've been put funding toward that and put their support behind that, to see again the support out there for our youth.
As a commercial ag educator, what's your role at the fair?
Whatever kind of help I can provide to our 4-H team. I mean, it's kind of one of those other duties as assigned type responsibilities. And, being someone who was a Logan County 4-H member for as many years as I could, definitely have some type of connection with 4-H. And it's actually interesting. Our 4-H educator, she had just started in the Logan County 4-H office when I was still in 4-H. So,
really?
And now we get to work together. So,
oh, wow.
It's kind of a nice, circle of life type thing. And
Yeah.
so, definitely feel a strong connection with the fair, and always happy to help out with 4-H events whenever I can.
And it's kind of all hands on deck for those, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We want to make sure that we have as many staff there as possible, just because, we're not saying anything's going wrong, but we just want to be there to not only support the youth and support the folks out there, but just make sure everything runs smoothly.
Very good. Now, you mentioned one more fair to go. You've got Logan County Fair coming up next week. What are dates for Logan County Fair?
So it officially will start this upcoming Sunday and then go through to the following Sunday. But I think most of the major events start on Monday and Tuesday in terms of grandstand events. For 4-H, though, we're kind of scattered all over the week. So on Monday will be our general projects show. A little bit different this year. We'll have some folks from both Sangamon and Menard County come up for it. We changed our schedule around. So you'll see some agronomy projects from our other 2 counties be there, along with a couple other areas. So that'll be Monday morning, kind of end in an early afternoon part. And then after that, you get to see those projects for the rest of the week. And then we'll get to reach out to those kids if they got promoted as a state fair delegate or alternate. Then Tuesday is our rabbit show. So our first live animal